This is the Expositor Devotional for November 5th, 2021. Brethren, be followers together of me, and mark them which walk as so you have us for an example. For many walk, of whom I have told you often, and now tell you even weeping, that they are the enemies of Christ. That is, they are the enemies of the cross of Christ, whose end is destruction, whose God is their belly, and whose glory is in their shame, who mind earthly things. Philippians 3:17 through 19. Whoever these individuals were, the apostle concluded them to be enemies of the cross of Christ. He didn't say enemies of Christ, but rather enemies of the cross of Christ. He was speaking of the Judaizers, whom he mentioned at the beginning of this third chapter of Philippians. The Judaizers were Jews who had accepted Christ as the Messiah, but who also insisted that all believers, both Jews and Gentiles, had to keep the law. As such, their emphasis was on the law and not at all on the cross of Christ. Regrettably, the problem didn't lie with the Judaizers. In fact, it is the problem which plagues the church even to this hour. Anyone who purposely makes something other than the cross of Christ the object of his or her faith, no matter who that person might be, can be concluded to be none other than an enemy of the cross of Christ. All salvation is found in the cross. All victory is found in the cross. All power is found in the cross. All healing is found in the cross. All life is found in the cross. Anything and everything that we receive from the Lord actually comes to us exclusively from Christ as the source and the cross as the means, with the Holy Spirit superintending all of what is done. How much of the modern church would have to be concluded to be enemies of the cross of Christ? I'm afraid that almost all the world fall in that category. Though the apostle, that is, through the apostle, the Holy Spirit says 4 things about such preachers and people, which are: 1, whose end is destruction. If the cross of Christ is rejected, ignored, or even given a secondary position, then destruction is the only conclusion, inasmuch as the cross alone stands between men and hell. If we reject the cross, we have at the same time rejected Christ, whose God is their belly. This refers to the fact that they are concerned about material things and material things alone, whose glory is in their shame. The material things they seek, God labels it as shame, and who mind earthly things. This means that they have no interest in heavenly things. They are merely using the Lord for their own personal gain. Let's say it again. If anyone rejects the cross, they have at the same time rejected Christ. The Expositor's Word for every day is a publication of Jimmy Swaggart Ministries, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The Expositor Devotional is an outreach of Straight and Narrow Ministries.